Physical copy games. They're amazing. They're great. Uh, Basically, I'm just going to be telling you. So, pretty much all I'm going to be talking about in this video is some physical copy games you might have never actually known got a physical release. It's mostly going to be Vita stuff because that's where all my limited edition and import physical stuff you would never know about is. I only have a couple falling behind on my collecting stuff, which I love collecting games, but I hadn't had the money to do it because I'm focusing more on trying to move out. I have a car I'm working on. By the way, second channel, if you care anything about cars, is Capri Sun 39 is Trailer Park Supercars. I'll put a link to the description in that, but that's not what I'll tell you more about that in the video if you're curious. So basically, we'll go ahead and start off with the one you first see right here. The hit game that nobody cares about anymore, or Sans Undertale. Undertale. A little company called Fangamer back in 2018, I think. 2018, 2017, around there. They got the rights from, I can't remember who actually, Toby Fox, I think it was. And they made a deal with him, I believe, and actually were able to make physical cartridges for the PC, PS Vita, PlayStation, for the PC, PS Vita, and PlayStation 4. Because originally this was a PC and PlayStation exclusive, I believe, and then eventually got moved over to the Nintendo Switch. I don't think there was ever a physical release over there. I could be wrong. Correct me if I am. I'm fine with corrections. But, yeah. Of course, I don't have to explain what Undertale is. Everybody knows what Undertale, so I'm going to assume you know what it is. If not, look it up. See right there, it tells you where it is, what it is. It's a fun game, but I just figured you might not know that it had a physical release. Of course, this was not released by, I think it had an official run, but you can see it's not rated. So this was a limited production as supply demands, or what, as demands, supply at demand, whatever. I think they produced it. It's somewhat rare, but it's more just a collector's piece. Most of these are more just a collector piece, something you display. It is a physical cartridge. Currently, it's in my Vita. There's nothing special. It just looks like this. Because I have played it, and then I stopped playing it when I got to Sans. Next is Unepic. This is a game from a publisher called East Asia Soft. And what they do is they take a lot of indie games and they'll develop and publish them, and they'll give them a limited quantity release. This one's not. You can still go to their store, as far as I know, and buy this one right now. It's like $20-something. It's a good game until you get to about halfway or midway through, and you reach a level, for the life of me, I swear, is impossible, and you can't get by. And yeah, it's a 2D RPG game. It likes to poke fun at the tabletop genre and stuff, which I'm a very big fan of. I absolutely adore D&D. I play it all the time. I mean, that shouldn't be or I try to. My group of friends hadn't really been able to for a while. But it's just a game you've probably never actually heard of. This one is another one. This is one of their special editions. Came with a bunch of goodies. I'll probably try to open it towards the end of the video, show you what all came in it. But, again, this is another one of them collector piece things. Reverie, pretty much it's just it's alright. It's a indie game. I wouldn't play through it again. It was only $29, and it came with a bunch of extra stuff, and it's a physical cartridge. It's a game that looked decent. Pretty much all it is just Legend of Zelda. That's all that game is. It's just Legend of Zelda. Of course, as you can see, East Asia Soft. These are the games you might not really care about. I get to the actual physical copies in a, actually released by Sony and publishers in a second. Then you have this one. This one I actually like. It's about a morbidly obese knight. You see, Sir Eats a Lot. It's a pretty fun little platformer, even if it's slow-paced and confusing on where to go at times. But it's another one of them indie games, another one of the collector pieces. It is completely 2D animated. It's not as crisp as something like Cuphead or something like that, but it is completely 2D animated, so there is that. Another game you could probably look up if you ever feel like it. Now we'll get to the more high-profile one. This right here is Skyforce Anniversary. Originally, this was released on the mobile as a mobile game. I forgot that when I bought it. It doesn't matter. It's still a pretty fun shoot 'em up, even if it's a bit basic. But what's interesting about this, or what's fun about this, was this is the very first, or one of the first ones, but released by a company called Limited Run, where they started having to rate their games by the MSRP. Apparently, they got in some trouble about that because they used to release them unrated. And then Sony was like, no, you can't do that. And the MSRP was like, no, you can't do that. I'm guessing because they're a US-based company. And though the East Asia Soft is based Hong Kong. So I'm guessing that's how they got away with it. But yeah, it was released by the company Limited Run, which is now famous by taking lots of games, indie games mainly, and doing what East Asia Soft does, but more high-profile indie games. Sometimes they're first-party games that they only release as a special collector's edition through Limited Run. This happens to be 115, so it is fairly early on in Limited Run's existence. But another game you probably didn't know was on cartridge, as well as now we're into the two that probably would interest you most. If you even knew Minecraft was ported over to the Nintendo Switch, because not many people do apparently, because Sony just did not. Sony and Mojang did not advertise at all for the Nintendo Switch version. All this is a portable PS3 version of Minecraft. Sure, you could argue something like Pocket Edition was out around the time, but I think around that time, the PS3 version was still probably superior to Pocket Edition, because I don't think Pocket Edition had quite as much stuff, and it was more janky, and it's just, you might prefer to have controllers. There are many, many reasons why you'd probably choose this one. Unfortunately, my box is warped because it came from Japan and is probably got hot on the boat or whatever and got warped. I have no idea what any of the stuff it's saying is. I know it says something about Minecraft. I don't speak Japanese. I apologize. I'm sorry. But if it'll focus. But yeah, if you even knew this game was released on PS Vita, you'd probably be surprised to hear that it got a physical release. Because, fun story about over here in Europe. Over here, we're the only country in the world, or not world, but we're one of the few countries that got this game, and we almost got a physical release. But we got the case only. It's one of those games that, you know how they started in recent years where you can buy the game like a game, in-game items like Fortnite does it. I hate to mention Fortnite, but Fortnite does it. And it'll come with a case, and it's something to display. But over here, it would tell you predominantly, download voucher only. I wish I had a US case to show you, but I don't. So, whatever. But yeah, it baffles me that it didn't get released over here physically. Europe, it was released physically, and Asia, or Japan, it was released physically. I think everywhere else, it got a digital release. And the European copy is so expensive. I don't know why it is so ludicrously expensive. Last time I looked up the European copy, It was like $200 something selling. And I'm like, why? For a physical version of Minecraft? I get it's a good game, but this is a heavily outdated and not really that great version. I mean, it's better than something like the new 3DS, but I I don't know. I guess if you like collecting European games. Something else I was going to say. Something else I was going to say about it. I don't remember. These are unscripted. Something else I was going to say. What was it? Golly, I done forgot it. I'll end up remembering it after the video, too. So these are unscripted. By the way, sorry if you hear my chair or anything in the background. I can't help that. I mean, I could, but I ain't buying a new chair right now, so you'll have to deal with it. Then, golly, what was I going to say? What was I going to say? I don't remember. Well, gotta move on. Don't remember what I was going to say. Then, next, we would have, you've probably seen it in the corner, a really high-profile indie game that was only released. This one, its physical version was only released in Japan. You couldn't even buy a download voucher for the Hotline Miami, because that's what this is. This is Hotline Miami Complete Edition. It has I had this brand new, and it is a special edition of Hotline Miami. Of course, it's all in Japanese. They got a physical cartridge. I believe physical media is a lot bigger over there. But the fun thing about this one is you would actually get if I can open it up, a download voucher for Hotline Miami 2. I can't use it. I think it's done expired because I don't have a Japanese PSN, but you would not only get a physical version of Hotline Miami and Hotline Miami 1, but you would also get a digital version, because this version of the game never got released. Well, I didn't give away my code. Well, I guess you got a free code if you want it. You're welcome, loyal subscribers. Well, dang. Oh, well, whatever. When does it expire? When does it expire? When does it expire, actually? I don't care. You got the code if you want it. I just gave somebody that game, whatever. You have to have a Japanese PSN account, so I ain't that worried about it. That's what I was gonna say. These games, you would think, but wait, they're aren't they in Japanese? No, they're in full English by default. Both of them. I guess because of the system, since the system isn't region locked, but it does have a region code. I'm guessing what happens is the game checks that, and then when it finds out USD or USDM, then it probably USNTC or whatever probably is like, okay, so this is a US system, and then it checks the languages, and then automatically defaults to English. Now, what is different is they have the Japanese control scheme. Because if you didn't know, PlayStation does have a slightly different control scheme over in Japan. I know it's weird, but instead of them pressing command for, at least on the Vita, instead of them pressing, and I know that's the case not just with this game, because it's the same way with Minecraft. If you press X, it cancels things. If you press circle, it enters things, which makes sense because circle is the X's and stuff. These do actually mean something. I'm sure you know or heard it at least. This means no. This means yes. I forget what the triangle means. And the square is like menu or something. They represent shapes. They're like kanji. But yeah, they're in full English by default. It's crazy. But those are probably just some of the more titles. I'm not going to bother opening the other ones. You can look up an unboxing if you want to, or I'll do a video later if the demand's high enough. But yeah, those are some of the games you might not know were physical. I wish I had more like that. I mean, I have 3D All-Stars, but you probably already knew that was physical. Oh, Undertale, before I go. Came with this. Came with a bunch of these little goodies. Came with a bunch of these little goodies. Came with a pen. Came with a pen that maybe you didn't see the name there. If you did, then my name's not whatever you saw there. But yeah, if you made it this far into the video and you want to support it, you know, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But I also have a second channel, and I do stream. I'll put a link to both of those in the description. The second channel is a car channel if you like cars. I figure most of you, well, actually from the polls, a good majority of you do, but some of the new people I'm going to figure don't, but I'm just going to say it anyway. I have a 1974 Caprice Classic 2-door coupe. It's a slow process, but I am working on it. Fully built 402 big block. If you know anything of what I just said, or you want to go just check out the channel because you want to support both channels, the link will be in the description. But with that being said, thank you for watching my very trash video, and have a good